I was roommates with a couple for over 2 years. I rented a room in their house. The woman owned it, and the boyfriend was along for the ride. He was from Michigan, north of Detroit. The home is in Portland, Oregon. The boyfriend told me a story of when he was at his home north of Detroit, and one of his small sons started screaming, and he got up and went into the son's room to see what was up, and the boy was pointing at the ceiling. The guy looked up and saw a pale man crawling on the ceiling. Described him as super skinny, like an Auschwitz survivor, super pale, with red glowing eyes. The guy went into his bedroom, grabbed his shotgun from the closet, and came back, and the crawler was crawling down the hallway on the ceiling, so the guy took a shot at it, but it didn't even flinch but crawled into the attic door in the ceiling of the hallways and disappeared. The guy called some of his friends who brought their guns over, and they looked all throughout the house including the attic but found nothing. He was adamant that that was a true story. This same fellow, the boyfriend to the house owner, had an old German Shepherd dog. His dog was abandoned by her first owners. Dog's name was Gabby. Gabby was obsessed with the man, and never wanted him to leave her sight. I think she feared being abandoned again. Well, Gabby attacked a opossum that has gotten in the backyard and killed it, but the opossum had some disease and Gabby got the disease and seemed to be going blind. So, the guy decided he had to get rid of Gabby but didn't want to pay the $300 to the vet to put her to sleep. So, he called a friend and they took a shotgun and they took Gabby up to the mountains and finished her off with the shotgun. The guy was heartbroken, but he figured he had no choice and could not afford to get her treated and did not want to see her suffer. Anyway, one night I came back late and went into the kitchen and there were no lights on, just light from the moon, and in the kitchen I saw the very clear shadow of a German Shepherd. Well, that house had 3 German Shepherds. Gabby was only one of them. I pinched off a little of the meat in my cheeseburger I had bought and offered it to the dog, who appeared to sniff it, but I couldn't hear any sniffing. It was very dark except for some moonlight. In any case, I was surprised when the dogs would not eat the meat, and the dog walked down the hallway into the bathroom. I followed the dog, only to find the bathroom door shut. I was right behind the dog. On the other side of the bathroom was another door that led to the bedroom of the woman and the boyfriend owner of Gabby. The only way the shadow dog could have gotten into the bathroom was to walk through the door, which it did. I guess Gabby just couldn't not stay away even in death. The other incident I had in that house was that I would have dreams in which young women would crawl from under the house and tell me that they were buried under there and if would help them. There is no basement in the house, just some crawl space that is infested with dangerous spiders. I had no intention of digging there. But later I dug a hole for a fence post and found a young woman's old-style bikini bottom. Several times something flicked my shirt in various places, and I'd look around and see nobody. Several other times something kicked my bed hard at night, but I was always alone. Makes you wonder. I am a night shift hospital security guard. My encounters vary, but I leave them all very much up for debate. I've stated before that I can go weeks at a time without experiencing anything, but then hit periods where activity is much more active. I don't know if it's because I've been posting on here more, and in a psychological alchemy kind of way, maybe drawing things from wherever, but I feel as though the activity is getting more frequent and less ambiguous. Not sure if that's the case or not. Could go one way or the other. Anyhow, you're not here for my introductions. I'll jump into it, and as always I'll accept any and all skepticism without any hate. So my shift started as usual. We actually had a patient over the weekend, but they were discharged a little after 6 p.m., so I've been alone in the facility since about 7 when the nurses clocked out for the night. Aside from my 2 jobs, I'm also a college student, so I was doing some homework at my desk. Around 8:30 p.m., I got a phone call. I've elaborated on the phones once. All you really need to know is that nobody is ever on the other end of the line. This time was different. I answered the phone, and was met with static, but I was able to make out the voice of a woman. I answered as I would normally. I was surprised to hear someone's voice for a change. They said that they were locked in the waiting room, and couldn't get out. This happens occasionally with the cleaning crew. If you get into the waiting room, the doors will lock automatically behind you. There are also 2 waiting rooms, one that I work out of, and the other one is on the other end of the hospital. I got my keys and headed over there to let her out, but found nobody there. I walked back to my desk and had a seat and continued my schoolwork. I didn't bother to return the call. I didn't see anybody, and it's hard to miss. Maybe 30 minutes later I get another phone call with the same voice as before, claiming that they were stuck in the waiting room. I asked where exactly they were. They said the waiting room by the parking lot, which is both waiting rooms. I went back to look, but once again saw nobody. I turned back around, then looked at the security monitor for that room, which only points towards the desk, which hadn't dawned on me. Nothing but a still image. Nothing in motion was triggering it. Sure enough, 15 to 20 minutes later I get another phone call asking me why I hadn't let them out of the waiting room yet. They were talking through static. And the woman on the other end said that she was just seeing her son, and when she was trying to leave, she found the door locked and to please let her out. That's when it dawned on me. Not sure why I hadn't thought about it before. But we didn't have any patients after around 6, and the patient that was discharged was an elderly woman. Kind of frustrated, I said, "Look lady, there are 2 possible waiting rooms that you can be in. I'm in one of them, and you're not in the other one." That statement was reciprocated with a light giggle, and then the phone went dead. I looked up the numbers in the call memory and attempted to call them all, but they were all inactive phone numbers. I'm aware that there are phone apps that you can use to clone numbers, so I'm not against thinking this was a human menace. I don't know if this was paranormal or not, but if it was, it wouldn't seem to be any of the entities that I'm familiar with, and this would be the first one that didn't seem to follow a pattern. Could just be somebody messing with the night security guard, or it could be some other entity that's only now showing itself, which may *potentially explain the phone occurrences. I'll have no way of knowing though.